First of all, congratulations to Auburn. I thought they played really well, certainly on both sides of the football. In the third quarter, it was a pretty tight game, but they did the things necessary in the fourth quarter to win. And so, they have a very difficult scheme on offense, and we certainly had our struggles, and we had opportunities to score, and we didn't. So it's hopefully we'll learn things from this. Next time we're in this position. I didn't think we played our best game, but I think certainly they probably had a lot to do with it.
All right, we'll take your questions. If you have a question for Coach Pinkel, if you'll raise your hand, we have floor microphones. We'll get to you, and we'll go ahead and start on the far right.
Gary, just, you talked all week about their running game. What did they do so well today, or was it something you guys didn't do very well?
Well, no, you give them credit, first of all. It's an offense, and they have skilled people, and they have a lot of cylinders, and I certainly think they got some momentum with it. They didn't do anything different than we expected. Nothing. We tried to make some adjustments also. It's assignment type. You have to have guys in gaps, and if you get frustrated and you don't get one guy in a gap and they happen to hit the right player in the right gap, then you're in trouble. And so, I just, I think you give them credit, but certainly, we made a lot of errors. I think as their tempo kept cranking up, and I think, we probably didn't handle that very well either.
Question on the center aisle.
How good was Trey Mason? Was he even more of a handful than you guys expected?
No, I expect him to be a great player. But you let a guy go through a gap like that full speed, then you got problems on the other end. You're asking your safeties and other people to make plays, and him in space, and that's difficult. And we got a lot of big plays, and obviously I'm real disappointed in that.
Question in the back. Go ahead.
Coach, did this feel like a road game to you and your team?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I don't think at all.
Question on the right side. Go ahead.
Halftime, obviously you guys have given up a lot of rushing yards already. What kind of adjustments did you guys try to make to be a little more successful in the second half?
Well, we did a few things, and obviously they didn't work, and so, again, they didn't do anything different than we expected. They did everything. We had trouble with their unbalanced formation a little bit and moving our people, but we just weren't moving our people that we needed to move, and then they're a gap off, and then you got problems. So, it was just things like that. We tried to do it, and as they kept, there's a real frustration that comes over you on defense when they're coming after you over and over and over again. And we've been a pretty good run defense. Ole Miss ran this scheme, the running part of it scheme, but obviously without that quarterback. And they obviously did some different things. So, we just, it's disappointing. But we had trouble stopping it, obviously, and couldn't get it fixed.
Question on the far right.
Could you explain the pressure that Auburn's offense put on your own offense? Because at times it seemed like they were tight, and at least because they needed to score more because of what Auburn was doing offensively.
Well, we scored 42 points, and what we have to do how we handle our football team is if the opponent's got 20, then our defense is responsible to hold the offense to 19, and if we have we have to score. They have 45, and we have to score 46. And I went for it on 4th and 2 in that end of the field because they run the football well. There's 4 minutes left, and we're trying to win a game. And so went for it, didn't get it, and obviously had a short drive for them.
Is there a question in the center? Go ahead.
Defensively, did they maybe come after you guys and blitz you a little more than you had anticipated? And maybe how did you feel you did?
A little bit. I think we did a lot of good things. You score 42 points, you've done something. Actually, 35, the defense scored 1 touchdown. But, it wasn't good enough.
Other question for Coach Pinkel? Let's come down to the front.
James Franklin, over 300 yards passing. What did you make of his performance tonight?
I did a lot of good things. You go back to every play. There's every player that every coach could have done something better. It's different when you lose a football game, but certainly did some good things. And there were some real positive things that happened. We were battling right in there to the fourth quarter, and then we just we didn't do well on either side of the football, and they finished the game.
Any question on the right?
Gary, how long does it kind of take for the guys to realize still the season they had and get past this a little?
Oh, they're crushed. I mean, they are absolutely crushed. And that's good. I mean, that's okay. They're used to winning, and this game was real important to them, and hopefully we get in the position again, we'll play better. Maybe we'll handle it a little bit better. I thought we did all the right things. I'm proud of them for how they competed and battled. But at the end of the day, you're playing a real good football team, and you got to make plays, and you also can't make mistakes, and you can't on either side of the ball. And we made a lot of mistakes too, and I think obviously give them credit too.
Question on the left side.
Coach, over here. What does it take to stop that offense? It doesn't look like there's a way to.
Well, everybody has problems with it, and you know what? I'm the wrong person to ask, because I'd have stopped it if I could have. So, it's a great scheme. More people are going to use it probably, and Gus does a great job with it, and a great quarterback, and so he has a lot of good people that can damage you. With a lot of talent, and you put that with a good scheme, and you got problems. So, obviously I'm not the coach to ask that.
Okay, question on the left. If you have one, then we'll come get you.
From the press box, it looked pretty difficult sometimes with Nick Marshall's option reads, making late decisions to pull the ball back and keep it. And how big a factor was that in their run success?
Well, he does a good job. I mean, like I said, I'm giving them all the credit in the world. Nick's really a good player, and they have really good players. So it's difficult, the fast tempo, and they were executing, pretty high at a pretty high level. And I think what happens too is they try to really, get going fast and fastball and go, and then your defense gets a little frustrated because you're giving up 10 yards, 9 yards, and then guess what? You start making mistakes. You don't get the gaps. You don't get to do things you need to do. And that's just kind of, just not a very good situation to be in. But that's the kind of the problems that you cause, and you got to make sure you maintain your poise and your focus when you go through that, and that's difficult to do sometimes.
Hey, question back in the center.
Back to your offense briefly. Dorial, another big game for him. He's kind of had a breakout season. Also had the shoulder injury. Can you just talk about his game today and coming back in, and getting that 55-yard touchdown, just what he brought?
Yeah, he really does a lot of good things, and I think we see, things that he can do, and he's gotten better and better, and it's neat to see that and make some plays, and that's what he is. He's a playmaker. We try to get the ball to him a few other times, and that fourth down call, we try to give him another inside screen, and didn't execute those quite as well, but obviously he played very, very well. A lot of big play potential, as we all know.
There's a question on the left. Did you have a?
I just want to know if Henry Jones is okay.
Yeah, Henry's fine. Yeah, I think the guys are really emotionally hurt. I mean, they're competitors, and they should be. And Henry's one of them, so it's part of the deal.
Go ahead.
Coach, how good a football team is Auburn, and what do you make of people saying an SEC team should play for a national championship?
Well, I really, with the strength of schedule that the SEC is, the guy coming from the Big 12, I think it certainly has to be considered without question, and I would hope that it is.
Other questions? Let's go to the middle.
Coach, what did this season tell you about Mizzou's place in the SEC, and how do you feel about Mizzou's plan moving forward?
Well, we won the East Championship, and I felt good about that, and it felt bad because we lost the championship because we wanted an SEC championship, and obviously we belong in the league. We got to get better to be able to win this game. We didn't do that, and I'm responsible for that. But I was excited about our program a year ago. So we do what we do, and I'm excited about keep building.
Other questions for Coach Pinkel? All right, another one in the front.
Coach, where do you go from here looking forward to the bowl game, your last game of your season?
Well, that's what you do. I mean, you got a chance. We'll feel better in a couple of days, and then there'll be a lot out there. We'll have a great opportunity, and to finish the season the right way. It's everyone played in this game today. Half of them won, half of them lost, and it's not a whole lot of fun being up here. But there'll be another day, and I'm very proud of our football team. I think we got a really good team. And played well in a great conference, and just didn't play our best game today, and I'm responsible for that.
Got time for a couple more. Let's take one in the middle.
Do you have? It looks like Outback, Cotton, Capital One are all in play. Do you have a preference? Is there any place you would like to go?
No, honestly, I've not thought about that at all. So I'm, all of my focus is on this game. We'll see where it goes, and wherever we go, we'll be excited about being there.
Got time for one more? Anyone for Coach Pinkel? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.